So today we're going to learn how to do division by hand without a calculator using what they call a bus stop method. I am aware that what I've drawn is not a bus stop, but I could not draw that. So we work with what we have. Let's start on what they call short division. So the smaller numbers that you might know your times tables for. If you don't know your times tables, as always, I really do recommend getting on and practicing that. There are multiple apps that will help you practice that. Hopefully you'll find one that suits you to do in a fun way. So we know what a bus stop, I'm just going to move that so it's slightly less shadow. We know what a bus stop looks like. It is usually with a roof. So you draw the side and a roof and you leave the back end open. Inside the bus stop, you write down the number that you're trying to divide. That's 84 in this case. We're doing 84 divide by 2. So that goes inside the bus stop. And outside the bus stop, the poor 2 is waiting by itself. And it wants to go in. So we are trying to find, I'm going to wait for that to focus, hopefully. We are trying to find how many 2's you can fit into 84. So if you counted up 2, 4, 6, 8, how many times would you have to count before you get to 84? So you say to yourself, how many times can you fit 2 into 8? You would count 2, 4, 6, 8. So that is 4 times. And you write it up above the 8. Perfect. How many times can you fit 2 into 4? Gotta be consistent. 2, 4. That's only twice. And you write it up above. And if you check it on the calculator, here is my calculator, we can see that we are correct, 42. We'll do a few more so you can see how this works. Oh dear. Oh, it's the calculator, there. And we're off center, but that's fine, no worries. Okay, so again, let's move this into the center a bit more. First thing we do is draw our bus stop. Draw the side and put the roof on it. I've drawn it a bit too high. I would recommend giving yourself more space than I have. So we have a fairly big number. You probably don't feel comfortable doing that one in your head. And dividing by a little number. So this is short division. It's a short little number. So we write the number that we are dividing inside the bus stop and write the number we are dividing by outside the bus stop. And we have a look. How many times can you fit 3 into 3? That's only once, right? And we write it up above, directly above the 3. So we don't get confused and think we've already divided the 6. Right, so how many times can you fit 3 into 6? That's 2. Last, how many times can you fit 3 into 9? 3, 6, 9. That's 3 times. If it helps you and you're not sure, if you have a long number and you might need it multiple times, I would even say, let's do it on this side, or out of the way. You might need this space at some point. So over here to the side, in what would be the margins, you could write 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so forth. And if this number, if you were trying to divide 12, you would know that you need to say 1, 2, 3, 4. The 12 divides by 3 4 times. You can fit 4 3's into 12. Okay, so I'm going to leave these here for you. I would say pause the video now and practice these by yourself. Okay, so pause and practice, because in just a minute I am going to have the solutions on the screen for you and you can compare your answers to it. So pause now. Okay, hopefully you work that out. I do want to show you how to work these through because these are a little different. I'm doing this the wrong way around. Usually we draw the bus stop first, but it doesn't really matter. Now, when you were trying these, did you figure out what to do with the 1? If not, you probably worked out that you can't fit 4 into 1. It doesn't work. So what you do is you put a 0 above it. You can't do anything with it. You have to put a 0 above it, cross it out, and bring it over there. Now you have 14. You can definitely fit 4 into 14 a few times. So, in this, how many times can you fit 4 into 14? You can fit it 3 times, right? You have, I'll write it down the side again, 4, 8, 12, 16. So 16 is too big, 12 is a little too small, but it's the best fit we can make. So it goes in 1, 2, 3 times. But you have 2 left over. 14 take 12 leaves you with 2. So you carry that 2. How many times can we fit 4 into 20? Let's write down the next in our sequence here. So 5 times. And it goes in nice and evenly. So now we know what to do if the number at the start is too small to work with. What if we had an uneven number at the end? Let's say it was 1, 4, 2. Divide by 4. You do the same thing to start with. 1, 4, 2 inside your bus stop. Divide by 4. We can't do anything with the 1, so we have to put a 0 over it, carry it to make that 14. This is going to be 3 again, and it's going to be carry 2. Now again, this is 22. It's a little too big for this. The next one is 24, so 24, 22 is a bit too small for that. So we have to work with the 20. This means we put 5 above, but we have 2 left over. So you put a decimal point. Like you were dealing with money, you put a decimal point and at least 1 0 after. You can put more, and you carry your 2. You also put a decimal point directly above the line so you know what you're working with. Now this one, that's 20, nice and even. So we can call it 5. You don't have to, but since I put the 0 there, I'll put a 0 above. If it's not money, you don't need to put that 0 there. If it's just centimeters or something that you're working in, leave that 0 off. You don't need it. Okay? Now, if you couldn't work out what to do when the number in front was small and you had the same problem over here, try that again. Pause right now and try again. Okay, I'm going to work through the answer with you so you can see it and check your work and make sure you're okay. So, draw your bus stop, draw your big number inside the bus stop, and put your number that you're dividing by, you call that the divisor, outside the bus stop. There we go, we're set up. So, we can't do anything with that 1, it's too small, can't work with it. Cross it out, put the 0 above, carry the remainder, we call that, over to the 15, to make this 15. Now, we can work with that. If you haven't already, if you wanted to, you could write down your times tables on the side, your multiples of 15, your multiples of 5, and then you could refer to your side. Now I know that 5 times 3 is 15, therefore 15 divided by 5 is 3. 7 doesn't go, so we do our 0, we cross out the 7, and make that 75. We carried the remainder. Now, I don't know 75 off the... Oh dear, I'm wrong. That was wrong. I am very silly. So I'm going to do it again. I'm not even going to edit this out because people make mistakes, and so long as they realize it and they fix it, it's okay. So going through this really quickly, cross out the 0, cross out the 1, put a 0 above, carry the 1, we get 3. You can see what I did wrong here. The 7 is obviously bigger than 5. I'm not sure what I'm thinking. So how many times can you put 5 into 7? Once. That's fine. You do have 2 left over, which is 2. Make that 25. How many times can you fit 5 into 25? 5 times. And that's your answer. I'm going to leave that in. It's good to see mistakes, so long as we catch them. Okay, so this is how you do short division with small numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything up to 12, so long as you're confident with your times tables, you can do short division this way with them. If you weren't that confident with your times tables, I'm going to show you a way you could do short division. There we go. Made that a little bit early. I'm going to show you a way you could do short division, but easier. If you weren't confident with your division for your 6s or your multiplication tables for your 6s or your 12s, you could use the short division method to make this a little easier and a little faster for yourself. So if I'm not confident with my times tables or my division for 6s, but I am confident with my 2s and 3s, or at least more confident with my 2s and 3s, then I know that 2 times 3 is 6, and instead I can divide by 2 and then divide by 3. It will give you the exact same result. I will show you afterwards on the calculator that it will come out the exact same as if you divide by 6. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to start down here because we need a little bit more space for this. So you draw one bus stop, and then you draw a second one on top of it. It's better to do this at the same time at the start so that you don't forget what you're doing. If you only divided by 2 and then didn't finish up dividing by 3, you wouldn't get your marks, you wouldn't be done. So write your number that you're dividing into the bus stop. Let's say I want to, it ends in a 4, so it's going to be easier for me to divide by 2 to start with. 2 and then 3. I assume it's going to be easier. So you divide as normal. How many 2s can you fit into 2? 1. How many 2s can you fit into 0? None. That's fine. How many 2s can you fit into 4? 2. That's okay as well. And now we divide by 3. So how many 3s can we fit into 1? No 3s. How many 3s can we fit into 10? We can fit 3 of them. And because 3, 6, 9. So that's 1 left over to get to 10. So we carry that last one here, the remainder, and it gives us 12. How many 3s can we fit into 12? 3, 6, 9, 12. So that's 4. Now I'll show you on the calculator that will, move that over here, that will come out the exact same whether you divide by 6 or you divide by 2 and then divide by 3 again. So we take 204, divide by 6. Our answer is 34. Exactly the same. You can do the same on the calculator as well. 204 divide by 2 is what we did first over here, and we got 102. Divide again by 3 gives us 34. It is the exact same thing, but if you're not confident with larger numbers, then it might be easier to split them up like this. So it has to be numbers that multiply to make the number in your sum. You couldn't do 2 and 4, for example. That adds up to be 6, but it does not multiply to be 6. Okay. So you can pause here and try 12. Now you can do it as 12. You can do it split up. Whichever way you prefer to do it is fine. When I show you the answer in a minute, I'm going to show it split up, just so you know what you can do. Okay, so pause now. And I'm going to show you the answer now, okay? I'm going to do it split up. Now, you could do, if you liked, 2 times 6. That's one you could do, or you could do 3 times 4. Depends what you think you're more confident with and what you would like to do. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to do the 3 and the 4. So I'm going to draw my bus stops. So that was one on top of the other. And we put our number that we are dividing inside the bottom bus stop. And I'm going to start with the 3 this time. And then we do the 4. So, how many times can we fit 3 into 5? Once, right? But we have a bit left over. 5 take 3 leaves us with 2. How many times can we fit 3 into 20? That's 6 times. 3 times 6 is 18. So that goes 6 times, leave another 2. So that's 24. Got a little smudged, but it's fine, so long as we know what it is. How many times can we fit 3 into 24? So we've said 18 is 6 times 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 3 is 24. So it goes 8 times. Now we do our second half, which is the 4s. So we can't divide 1 by 4. 1's too small. We can't fit anything bigger than 1 into it. So it's a 0 and carried. Now we do have 16, so that is bigger than 4. So if we were going to write it down on the side, it would be 4, 8, 12, 16. So we can see that we can fit 4 4s into 16. There we go. And then we can see that we can fit 2 4s into 8. And that leaves us with 42. Okay, so hopefully you got that right. If not, pause this, look away, try again without the answer, or try different numbers. I will show you one more, maybe 2, for bigger numbers, just so you can see it again. So let's say we have this one. So we've got 1,296 divided by 18. That's a big number, and I doubt you know your times tables for your 18s. But what you might know is your times tables for your nines. So 2 nines are 18. I'm sorry the camera's going out of focus. I can see it. I will have to figure out how to fix that for upcoming videos. But for now, we'll have to manage. Now, if you didn't know your nines, this is what I wanted to show you. If you didn't know your nines, you're not confident with it, but maybe you know your threes. You can break this down another line. 2 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. I can show you on the calculator. Oops. Sorry. 2 times 9 will come out to be 18. We're agreed on that. This line will also come out to be 18. 2 times 3 times 3 is 18. You can, if you need to, stack 3 or more bus stops. So you could do, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room, start a bit lower down. You could do 3 bus stops if you need to. You can do 4 if you need to. You do whatever works for you to get the sum done. So it's 1,296. And we're going to divide by 2, and then 3, and then 3. So let's start at the start. Can't do the 1, so we make that a 0 and carry. How many times do we fit 2 into 12? 6 times. That's fine. How many times can you fit 2 into 9? The nearest one below 9 is 8. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 8 is 1 away from the 9. So that leaves us with 16. We can fit 8 2s. 2 times 8 is 16. There we go. So we've got another line done. Now, how many times? I mean, it's a 0. You don't have to, but you can put it above just to keep your columns, your lines tidy. Make sure that's okay for you. 3 times 2 is 6, right? So 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now, 3 doesn't go evenly into 4, we know that. 3 goes into 3 once, and that is 1 away from the 4. So we carry 1 over. 3 times 6 is 18. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. So that's fair enough. Now we're on the last line. We have the 0, just to keep things tidy. You can't fit 3 into 2. Doesn't work. So we put a 0 above and carry. Now 21 does divide evenly by 3. 3 times 7 is 21. Therefore, 21 divided by 3 is 7. And we know that we can fit 2 3s in 6. And our answer is 72. If you put that into the calculator, if you put this line into the calculator, it will come out exactly the same. And I will even show you, just to be sure. Whoops. I've got to stop hitting the camera. 1296 divide by 18 comes out to 72. So you have another one over here to do the same thing with. If you are good at your 16 times tables, then go straight ahead and use those. But if you are not that confident with it, you could break it up into 4 times 4 or 2 times 8. And again, if you needed to, you could go 2 times 2 times 4. Depends what you're confident with. You could use either method if you're confident with it. I'm just going to do the 2 lines this time. You can use that if you want as well. It's up to you. Even this line, you could break it up into 2 times 2 is 4, and again times another 2 and 2. So let's do this. Try it yourself first, and now I'm going to show you the answer. So we draw our bus stop, we draw the bus stop on top of it, and we write our number inside that we are dividing. Then we write our numbers that we're dividing by on the outside. Now, how many times can we fit 4 into 8? We can fit 2 4s in 8. How many 4s can we fit in 9? The nearest we can get is 8, so that's another 2, but we have 1 left over, 1 remainder. So 4 into 16, we can fit 4 4s into 16. 4 times 4 is 16. So that's perfect, nice and even. It's a good sign. Now over here, we can't fit 4 into 2. 2 is too small. So we put our 0 above and carry our 2. How many 4s can we fit into 22? It doesn't go evenly. The nearest one is 20. So 5 4s are 20. We have 2 left over is 24. How many 4s can we fit into 24? Now, if you can fit 5 4s into 20, and the next one up is 24, that means you can fit 6 4s into 24. So 4 times 6 is 24, and that gives you 56. So if you try it multiple ways, there are several options you can take for this, then you should be able to do this. Now, I would recommend try this multiple times. Try it a couple of times for a few days and make sure that you're comfortable with it. There is another stage after this where you learn how to do this with numbers that don't break down, what we call long division. And I should have a video on that up soon as well for you to look at. Most numbers, if you can break them down, if they divide by something other than themselves and 1, then you can use this method and simplify it for yourself. And it's perfectly acceptable to do this. If you have a number like 17 that doesn't divide by anything else, it's just your options are 17 and 1, that won't help you to break it down. So we'll have to learn another way of dividing for that. It's not much harder once you've got this method practiced. Once you're comfortable with this, we can look at the long division. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope it's been helpful.